They just could not have contemplated any of this. When the framers created the role of a president, they were motivated by a desire to balance the need for centralized power to govern with the danger posed by one individual with too much power. But this was an entirely different world than the world in which we live in today. This was a world in which wars were largely fought using single-fire musket rifles. The world would seem much larger to the framers than our interconnected world today. Transportation took place on horseback or sail ships, taking weeks to cross the Atlantic instead of hours. The idea of an airplane flying through the sky would be far beyond their imagination. Furthermore, the idea of those planes being turned into weapons and flown into buildings as an act of war would be unimaginable. The framers couldn't imagine global warming, climate change, or understand that human activity could alter nature in such a dramatic and dangerous way. Nuclear bombs and the threat they posed during the Cold War between our country and Russia would have certainly tested their limits for granting powers to a president to take military action. The internet and how we use it to communicate with anyone in the world virtually instantly would seem like its own superpower. And the idea that someone could wage war behind a computer screen and create debilitating chaos without firing a single bullet would certainly push their comfort level for a president's broad powers. It's interesting to think what the framers would say about the state of presidential powers if they could see us today. Whether this expansion of power is positive or negative changes based on time and perspective, but there's one thing we can say for certain. As much as the framers couldn't imagine our world in the 21st century, we too cannot imagine how different the world will be over the next 200 years. Will these powers have to continue to expand to meet the needs of an evolving population? And if so, can our system of democracy, the Republic, remain a democratic government?